Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today we are going to break down the surprisingly high stakes and, honestly, the nonstop chaos of a very specific, highly volatile woodland environment. Seriously, if you think the forest is just some quiet place for a relaxing picnic, you might want to think again. The events we're analyzing today reveal a landscape where survival requires constant vigilance, tactical planning, and some absolute on-the-fly engineering. We're going to look at a compressed timeline packed with thefts, severe weather events, apex predators, and even a legendary aquatic beast, all happening to a group of incredibly resilient rabbits. And whether you're managing a complex project at work or just trying to navigate a particularly chaotic week, the tactical lessons from these woodland survivalists are surprisingly applicable to all of us. Now, to really understand this environment, we have to look at the single most important artifact that drives almost every tactical decision they make: the journal. This isn't just some diary with personal thoughts, it's a comprehensive, life-saving survival manual. Left behind by Peter's father, this journal acts as the ultimate field guide. It's packed with blueprints for boats, detailed maps of the local islands, and absolutely crucial warnings about the dangers lurking in the woods and the water. Without this book, navigating the terrain is nearly impossible. It perfectly illustrates the immense value of inherited knowledge. When you're operating in a hostile, unpredictable environment, having a reliable single source of truth isn't just a nice-to-have. It is literally the difference between thriving and failing completely.
Okay, let's dive into our roadmap for today. We'll be covering 4 escalating crises. 1. The stolen journal. 2. The treehouse disaster. 3. The giant fish legend. And finally, 4. The great frog rescue.
Starting off with Section 1, the stolen journal, a nighttime recovery. So this first mission is a perfect example of why leaving your assets unsecured in a chaotic environment is a massive risk. The entire chain of events kicks off when the journal is stolen in the dead of night by Old Brown, who happens to be a very formidable owl. Suddenly, their primary objective is sitting securely on Island, which is half a mile away. Now, for a rabbit, a half-mile water crossing might as well be the Atlantic Ocean. Because they simply cannot swim that distance, they're forced to rely on third-party transportation, which means diving right into the complex local woodland economy. They actually have to barter for a lift on these crude wooden rafts operated by the local squirrel population. And getting a ride, well, that's just the beginning. To even reach the drop zone, they have to navigate through the dense, perpetual mist surrounding Rocky Island. It is a full-scale tactical extraction mission absolutely fraught with environmental hazards. What makes this treacherous journey so fascinating, though, is how the physical terrain actually verifies the intelligence data held in the journal. While they're navigating this foggy, super dangerous area, they stumble upon Old Rusty. Now, this was explicitly noted in the father's journal as the loudest whistle in the world, supposedly lost to the island forever. Finding this physical artifact exactly where the journal said it would be proves that the father's manual isn't just local folklore. It's a highly accurate topographical and historical record of the woods. It's a perfect example of why verifying your intelligence data out in the field is absolutely crucial. But, of course, just as they manage to secure the journal, the environment itself decides to turn on them. Moving into Section 2, the treehouse disaster, a severe weather event. Just look at how rapidly this situation deteriorates from a targeted heist to a desperate fight against nature. You've got this exhausting nighttime recovery mission on Owl Island that pushes their physical limits. Then, by morning, a massive thunderstorm hits the lake and the surrounding woods, forcing an immediate halt to all operations. They take shelter, but by the afternoon, as the skies finally clear, they realize the storm didn't just pass over them, it caused severe localized devastation right at their own doorstep. The rabbits return to find their primary base of operations, their beloved treehouse, completely wrecked. The wind just ruthlessly scattered their hard-earned assets across the forest floor. I mean, look at this. They took a total loss on their observation equipment. The telescope is just gone. They lost precious engineering schematics and drawings, a deeply sentimental sign left by Peter's dad, and astonishingly, the entire roof. And what completely complicates the recovery is that in this opportunistic woodland economy, unanchored debris is immediately claimed by scavengers. A badger named Tommy Brock literally walks off with their tin roof, claiming it as his own property. It forces the rabbits into a grueling piece-by-piece recovery effort just to reestablish a basic baseline of shelter. Which brings us to Section 3, the giant fish legend, and a newly discovered hidden page. Just as they're starting to pick up the pieces of their home, a hidden page they find in the recovered journal introduces an entirely new, terrifying threat. Jeremy Fisher, a local frog who intimately knows absolutely everything about the lake's ecosystem, flat out refuses to go into the deep water because of what's described on that page. He describes this creature, known as Jack Sharp, as the meanest, strongest, nastiest fish of all. This isn't just your average fish, guys. It is the undisputed apex predator of the lake. Its mere existence fundamentally alters how every single local resident interacts with their primary water source.
And the legend of this beast is deeply personal to our survivors. We get this stark, direct contrast between Peter's father, who is renowned across the woods as a great adventurer, and Jack Sharp. The story goes that the father cast his line, hooked the beast, and was violently pulled to the right, then to the left. He battled the fish with everything he had until he actually lost his footing. The sheer size and brute power of the fish were simply too much to overcome. Jack Sharp escaped, earning the legendary title, the one that got away, cementing his status as an untouchable local myth. It's a real masterclass in knowing your limits, right? Even a great adventurer has to recognize when an opponent is simply out of their weight class.
Let's look at the final crisis in Section 4, the Great Frog Rescue, an all-out fight for survival.
But legends of giant fish quickly have to take a back seat to an immediate, terrifying threat on dry land. Here we see a violent clash of land-based apex predators. Jeremy Fisher, the frog we met just a minute ago, is captured by Mr. Todd, a very calculating fox who has highly specific culinary plans involving frog's legs and a nice outdoor picnic. But, like we've seen, this woodland ecosystem is wildly unpredictable. Enter Tommy Brock. Yep, the same badger who stole the treehouse roof earlier. He aggressively crashes the fox's picnic. Suddenly, you have two incredibly powerful, dangerous animals fully occupied with destroying each other. And while that sounds bad, it actually creates a terrifying, highly volatile, but absolutely vital window of opportunity for a rescue operation. The engineering the rabbits pull off under this kind of pressure is simply remarkable. Positioned precariously in the branches above these fighting predators, they execute a flawless extraction blueprint. Step 1, they immediately source crucial materials, basically just some sturdy string in a bucket. Step 2, they rig up a makeshift mechanical hoist, carefully lowering the bucket directly over the trapped frog. And Step 3, they quickly pull Mr. Fisher up into the safety of the trees. This is rapid, on-the-fly problem-solving at its finest. It just goes to show that maintaining a cool, analytical head when the ecosystem is literally collapsing into violence around you is your single best tool for survival.
But they still need to secure their escape route, right? The predators are directly below them. This leads to a brilliant tactical diversion that neatly brings the whole chaotic day full circle. Using the heavy-duty fishing rod they acquired earlier, the exact same one originally meant for the legendary Jack Sharp, Peter confidently declares, "I'm going fishing again, this time for a batter." He uses the hook to snag and perfectly distract Tommy Brock, creating just enough additional chaos to ensure the entire rescue team gets away cleanly.
Which leaves us with a perfectly unresolved, totally hilarious woodland standoff. We have a highly dangerous fox, furious about a ruined picnic, and a tough-as-nails badger, Tommy Brock, staring confusedly into an empty bucket where his snack used to be. The rescue was a complete success, the journal was recovered against all odds, and the scattered treehouse pieces were slowly found. But in an environment this incredibly volatile, you really have to ask yourself, with these major predators highly agitated and still hungry, what entirely new level of chaos are they going to cause tomorrow? And more importantly, if your own metaphorical treehouse blew down tomorrow, do you have the blueprints and the alliances necessary to build it back? It's a masterclass in survival and a stark reminder that in these woods, the adventure absolutely never stops.